So, how can the Yankees effectively fill out the rest of the 40-man roster? They're at 38 right now. There's 2 spots to go. So let's talk about it right now. So, I'm going to read the roster to you. This is the 40-man roster right now, okay? Clayton Beeter, Garrett Cole, Nestor Cortes, Scotty Frost, Luis Hill, Wendrus Gomez, Victor Gonzalez, the new trade piece from the Dodgers, Ian Hamilton, Clay Holmes, Tommy Kahnle, Matt Crook, Jonathan Loaizaga, Ron Marinaccio, Nick Ramirez, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt. Those are all the pitchers. Now let's get to the catchers. There are 5 catchers. Carlos Narvaez, Augustine Ramirez, Ben Rortvedt, Jose Trevino, Austin Wells. Infielders, Jeter Downs, 2 days ago. DJ LeMahieu, Oswald Peraza, Anthony Rizzo, Gleyber Torres, Corbett Vivas, the other get from the Dodgers trade. Versatile infielder. Anthony Volpe. Outfielders, Oswaldo Cabrera, Jason Dominguez, Estevan Florial, Oscar Gonzalez, who they picked him up waivers from the Guardians, Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, Everson Pereira, Juan Soto, Alex Verdugo, and then DH, Giancarlo Stanton. So that's where the Yankees 40-man roster stands right now. It's 38. So they've got 2 ways, or 2 spots that need to be filled. And I wouldn't be surprised if they moved some of these guys in trades as well. So the roster could effectively go down before it goes back up. And I don't see them holding 5 catchers, in all honesty. And I could see them moving a piece here and there, because the fact is they've got to improve the bench and they've got to improve the bullpen. This kid Yamamoto from Japan, that's 1 roster spot, but they're looking to bring in another second starter, and they're looking to effectively add 1 or 2 relievers as well. So how can you do that while staying at the 40-man? It's hard to do. But let's talk about this, what they did a couple of years ago. They tried to supercharge their bullpen a few years ago when they already had Aroldis Chapman, but they added Zach Britton at $39 million for 3 years and Adam Ottavino for $27 million for 3 years, already to Aroldis Chapman. Zach Britton himself was pretty good for 2 years, but then he had injury plagued after that. Adam Ottavino was good first year, and he stunk the second year, so they traded him to the Red Sox. And Aroldis Chapman, he's kind of the enigma of the bullpen. He just became one of the most unreliable bullpen closers that we've had in a while. I mean, the better 3-headed monster was him, Andrew Miller, and Dellin Betances. I wish they would have stayed for a little bit longer, but they traded Andrew Miller and Dellin Betances out with the Mets. So, but how can they do it? My take is by adding 1 reliever and converting 1 reliever. Okay, because the right fits need to be, I think, incorporated here and considered. And I think the right fits is converting. If they can figure out a way to successfully deploy Nestor Cortes from a starter to a long reliever, I think they would be very, very happy. I think it could be a very valuable weapon. And they can add a power arm, either Jordan Hicks in free agency, or you try to trade for somebody like Devin Williams or David Bednar, who will cost probably half of what Emmanuel Clase is going to cost. So, or one of the like a Garrett Crochet from the White Sox or something like that. You add a power arm to the bullpen, and you can convert a starter. Because the fact is, too, I will take a full year of Nestor Cortes as long reliever instead of half a year of Nestor Cortes healthy as a starter and then getting hurt for the other half of the year. He's had a trouble staying healthy as a starting pitcher. So converting him to a long relief, which is, I've said this about probably over 2 years now, having at least 2 long relievers, capable long relievers, guys that can be an effective bridge from the starters who aren't going to always give length, okay? Effective bridge from them to the short inning guys in the bullpen, the power arms, is of absolute critical importance. And again, if they can deploy Nestor Cortes to long relief, then it opens up a rotation spot, allows them to sign 2 starters if they want, and still have room for the 5th spot, which would be one of their kids, Will Warren, Clayton Beeter, Chase Hampton. Still leaves room for one of these guys. And if they hit on one of them, you have young, controllable starting pitchers to offset or help balance the expensive superstar starting pitchers that they have. So either way, they can make room. Now, obviously it depends on what this kid Yamamoto does. So But I'm not going to put out a video every single day on Yamamoto just to tell you that we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. They're the favorites. Oh, we don't know. The Dodgers don't know. Yamamoto countdown. It'll happen when it happens. So I'm just going to respect the man's space. He has until January 4th, and he can exercise every day. So I hope that we can all be patient, even though it's not the easiest thing in the world. But, you know, if I'm the Yankees, I'm effectively building pieces around it in the meantime, because he's only going to address one rotation spot. He's not going to fortify the bullpen, right? So he's not going to fortify the bench, and the Yankees need to improve their bench as well. So, and how can they do that? So in this, I think the Yankees are going to make several moves. They brought in a couple low-key moves already with Jeter Downs, and they've added the kid Vivas from the trade from the Dodgers. So you got two athletic infielders that they've just added to the roster with good range, which can help complement some of the other and make it easier if they want to trade an Oswald Peraza or an Oswaldo Cabrera, right? So Jeter Downs was a top 50 prospect in all of baseball not too long ago. He still has range and athleticism. So they can figure if they can, effectively get more out of him with the new hitting coach, James Rosen, just like if Matt Blake can get out of something, get more out of these relievers that they have. And I'm glad that Scotty Frost is back now and Luis Hill is back, because we've got two weapons that were valuable before that can come back and be effective again. And they're already on the 40 man, so they don't have to make complementary moves to add them. So, but how can they effectively do it? My gut tells me, my opinion tells me, converting Nestor Cortes can be a valuable weapon, and adding a power arm who can effectively close while we eventually effectively move Clay Holmes to an eighth inning setup role. I think will be the effective way to deploy him. And then you can have an Efrost in the 7th or in the 6th or whatever you want to do. And then if no matter who it is, you can have them close. Okay, and then you'd have another well together bullpen, okay, with the right fits. Because the biggest names, the most expensive guys, like we got Josh Hader and Emmanuel Klosser, Josh Hader and Hicks, that doesn't mean it's going to work, right? So how do you put together the right puzzle pieces and to make it an effective bullpen? To me, is an important part of the puzzle. So, by the way, more news is going to come out no matter what happens. Every move that Yankees make, I'm going to report it. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that sub button. I thank you so much. Okay, and hit the notification button too. That way you're always at the front of the line when the news comes in. But this is today's question and a half for you. Like, how would you effectively fill out the 40 man? They're at 38 right now. Would you add two? Well, they have to add two, but which two would you add? And is Jeter Downs or some of these other guys? Because let's look at the bench right now. It's going to be either one of Austin Wells or Jose Trevino on the bench. The other one's going to start. It's either going to be most likely one of Oswald Peraza or Oswaldo Cabrera on the bench. If maybe both of them are traded, and you still have Vivas and you have Jeter Downs series, so they've got depth now, which makes it easy for them to unload guys for pitching if they want to do that. If they wanted to trade for one of the relievers, they could do that, right? Or trade for one of the starters, they could do that. So it leaves them room now. These little mini trades and signings or acquisitions or waiver pickups that Cashman's made over the last couple of weeks has done an effective job, in my opinion, of fortifying the bench to a degree. Okay, and again, a versatile player, someone who could play the infield and outfield, whether it be Oswaldo Cabrera. There's talk about them bringing back IKF on a role to fortify the bench because he can play the infield and the outfield. So, and he came into his own a little bit better last year with Sean Casey, and I think James Rosen will bring more out of him. So, how are they going to fill out these spots? How are they going to fortify the bench and the bullpen and the rotation? Okay, so that's my question for you today. Give me your insight. Load up the comments. I want to know what your thoughts are. So, and these are just as important as signing a 25-year-old ace pitcher as from Japan. These are just as important. That's what I want to talk about. So let me know what you think. Have a great week. Happy holidays. Talk to you next time.